Okay, welcome back to another beginning of the month learning from Coach Vlad. If you are new to the journey, I have been training with Coach Vlad once a week for after this month is complete. It will be a year and 6 months. If you do not know who Coach Vlad is, he is a former Russian Olympic head coach and has actually just recently trained Team USA. So the knowledge inside of this gym is one of a kind. Today was absolutely phenomenal. We worked on a lot of body mechanics. Coach understands how to transform an individual into an athlete. We worked on spinning. We worked on multitasking. We worked on continuously bouncing. And then later into class, we worked on our freestyles with an individual hand and then the other hand, putting the gloves on to work on freestyling in general. And after you continuously get through these exercises, which I want to say is you can push yourself as much as you want to within these exercises. They could be as simple as you want them to be or as advanced as you want them to be. And if you push yourself, the exercises he gives are such a psychological phenomenon. It is phenomenal. I absolutely love it here inside of this gym. He understands beyond what I've ever seen an individual understand. It translates so beautifully. That's just my tangent. And then after we did the freestyles, we went on the bag for 20 minutes to just work on our jabs. I've said it before and I will say it again. If you are not throwing jabs continuously, if you haven't thrown 20, 30,000 jabs, you can't expect yourself to be in the ring as long as you would want to throw jabs, or your shadow boxing won't look as good as you think it would because you watched a certain amount of videos. There's as much technique as you can learn, but then after a certain point, it is just reps. You need to come put in the reps, and also having guidance to maximize the time spent during those reps is the key to really bringing it all together. However, no matter how you take steps forward always need to be taking place to see progress, to feel progress, but it can be done with discipline and consistency. Let's go. I'm absolutely loving this journey. I can't wait to see what these next 3 weeks have to offer and what a year and 6 months with Coach Vlad is going to look like. I'll see you next week. Okay, today was another phenomenal cardio intense day. We started off on the jump rope, and then we went ahead and worked on some shadow boxing, working on our ghost step. It's what I am accustomed to, seeing it via social media. However, we stepped back, we stepped to the left, we stepped to the right, and then followed with a combo, a one or a 1-2, 1-2-1. And it was quite fascinating how that feels. Honestly, it feels good for me naturally. There are some things that don't feel comfortable naturally, especially the first time we practiced it, because this is one of the first times, I believe, honestly, the first time we've actually practiced it in class, which is yet again another reason why I love coming here. We're learning something new every single class. Every single class. Every single class. I have to say it 3 times so you really grasp how much knowledge this man possesses and how he can transform you mentally and physically inside of this gym. Then we got some partner work, which was great because on both ends of the spectrum, you were able to practice. Normally, if you're using mitt and glove, one person's just getting hit and the other person is punching, then you have to take turns. For these exercises, we were actually able to implement a exercise on both sides, where one side is more biased on the exercise, but if you practice it properly, you can get good work on the opposite spectrum as well, which is yet again another reason why maximizing your time spent at any given activity makes the most sense if we're going to aim to achieve anything. This is why I love it here. I love human psychology on another level. Nonetheless, we kept that cardio going. We eventually got to the bag, freestyling, and the bag freestyling today was phenomenal. I didn't push myself nowhere near as hard as I know I could have gone, but I still was so confident and comfortable how I was hitting the bag. So that
is an understanding of how to maximize energy spent, because there was no standard on how long we were going to be in a bag. So I wanted to be as realistic as possible, get good punches, get good combos, and save and conserve energy, but also not conserve so much energy that I'm allowing my opponent to play aggressive offense. So the fact that I'm in a place of mental awareness, even on just bag, highlights how much practice and progress within that practice is coming into fruition. So that in itself is a phenomenal feeling. A lot of the times when you're in any beginning of the journey, it takes so long to really see progress. But once you get there, you're like, oh, wait, progress. It's so cool. And then we continued with a few more exercises after that to close off, ending with 4, and an absolute fantastic class today. I'm excited to keep learning and keep expanding my seed here. See you next week.
Okay, yet again, another successful week here with Coach Vlad, and I just finished what? Sparring, which is something I haven't done in quite some time now. And it's one thing to put in work and to progress and to know your progress and through your cardio, through your technique, through how many jabs you can throw before you get tired. But then there is another when you add all of those plus another human and their own specific psychology and their own progression. So it was fantastic to see what my mind was able to comprehend during the sparring session. And my highlights for me were the comfortability, if you know me, I am want to push myself to my limits. So normally by the time the end of class gets there, I'm extremely exhausted. So I'm getting to fatigue in the spar faster, but with my cardio being intensified, the cardio lasted for me to be calm enough to last the spars. However, the cardio wasn't there enough for me to really be on the attack. I could be on the defense, be aware, be comfortable in my skin, and think about what I would like to do. But if I did try to do a lot of head movement, a lot of combinations, also, now that I'm speaking about combinations, a lot of combinations felt good that didn't feel good before, and combos that used to feel good didn't feel as good. So obviously these are only 2 spars, and the first 2 spars I've had in a very long time, so I really didn't get to play. I did like the roll from my jab. That feels so comfortable, and honestly when I first started here, I seen the kids here do that, and my body just didn't understand that motion enough. So to see it, understand it, and then to understand enough for it to work in a match was phenomenal, because honestly, just that punch is so aesthetic to me. Nonetheless, getting back to the actual practice today, we started off on the jump rope. Then we worked with the tennis balls, which is something that I have been actually taking on my own time. I'm juggling much more on my daily basis because it's become a newfound hobby for me. Honestly, it increases my awareness. It's such a meditative practice. So I love when he implements the tennis ball. We were doing some advanced movements with the tennis ball at some point, dribbling it and then pivoting and then catching it and then doing a combination backwards, which was so mind stimulating. I love the human psychology behind this door here in Valrico, Florida. He understands the human brain and I love the human brain and how you can maximize it through doing unique activities to stimulate it in several ways. Then we did continuation work with a partner with the tennis ball, working on reflexes, who can get the ball faster, and whoever gets the ball faster is rewarded with not doing a certain exercises to intensify the activity and alert your brain to work as best as possible. Or if you like the games, do it as fun as possible. So regardless if you work on your reflexes or you have to work out, you're still getting good work in. That's just me being extra workaholic. And then we finished up with some combos in our stance with Coach cueing us, going forward, going backwards, throwing combinations. And what I loved about today was the fastest we ever done it. We went forward, we went backward, left, right. He just kept adding and adding the workout in between enough reps, and then keep it going, touching toes, push-ups. Honestly, I like that speed, especially at the end of the practice where we have just worked out a ton, and then right after that, we entered the spar. So super happy with how today practice went out. I am blessed and honored to be continuously learning from the best in the business, baby. I'll see you next week. Okay, what a phenomenal way to end the month here with Coach Vlad. Today we worked on the ladder, and you don't realize how intensive the ladder can get, especially under proper supervision. We worked on footwork, and it's something that in the beginning of my journey was one of my major concerns as far as progressing, and it was so cool to see how slow I still am and how much work I still have to go, but how far I've come thus far. We did that ladder for the first 25% of class, and then we went on to the tennis balls, which I am in absolute love with. I said it last week, and I will say it again. I've been taking on juggling throughout my daily life as a hobby because I genuinely love the awareness increase that the skill set develops. So we continue to work on that. One of my favorite was throwing it up with your right hand, turning all the way around on your right side, catching with your left hand, and then throwing with your left hand, turning on your left side, getting all the way 360 and catching it with your right hand. And then the other one was having your hand up straight, dropping the ball, throwing a punch with the same hand, and then catching it with a punching motion with the same hand, which was very strenuous to my brain. Today was a mental manipulation, multitasking day. There were several exercises that back to back had your mind thinking in so many ways, trying to keep your awareness where your feet are, being able to see where the ball goes, being able to feel where your body is, where your feet are under you. Non-stop cardio intensive session. I absolutely loved it. And then we ended it on the bag, and I am getting so confident with just being on the bag, just being able to explode and throw 15 punches in a row, but for them to make sense, and then for me to hit pure exhaustion but still be able to throw like 1-1-2s and going back and forth with just ones and twos when I'm extremely tired, but still decent enough to be able to stay in the ring if necessary, and then finding my momentum again and really throwing that straight hook. I am in love with that straight overhand hook so much. I am so glad that is in my arsenal because it is so aesthetic for me. I love throwing that punch. Honestly, just genuinely, the feeling feels so good. I can just, you know how some people love to do a backflip because it feels good, or love to do whatever, draw, paint, like that hook. I could just do that the entire career of my boxing career and I'll be okay. I just love the sensation. Nonetheless, super proud of the progress on the bag. Just seeing myself find meditation state on the bag, and for it to make sense, for me to be able to pretend it's an opponent and add in slips and add in ducks and backing up and taking my time and swatting their hand down. And I do need to get faster, and it did get to a point where my shoulder was tired. I was exhausted. My front hand, my left hand, my jabbing hand, my lead hand was sore to the point where I had to keep it down, and I really only had my right hand. But since it's my backhand, it was so much to try to reach across, and I could really only work on my tight hooks and my tight crosses. But it was quite fascinating to see myself be able to get to that level of exhaustion on one hand, because at one point I was trying to work on just my jabs. Let me throw 20 jabs in a row. I should be able to throw 30 jabs in a row and be comfortable to throw a combo right out of that and then throw 30 more jabs. You know, working on things like that. Honestly, understanding the basics and loving the process while we're at it. No matter what you want to do, change the subjects, no matter what you want to do in life, whether it's boxing, gymnastics, reading 10 books a year, painting, swimming, any hobby that you want to do, you feel you want to learn, you can make time for it, even if it's just one day a week. You will see progress, you will get good at it, and you will gain confidence from putting in work that you wouldn't have otherwise by not picking up the hobby. Go chase your dreams. We only have one life to live. There is no point at all in waiting and wasting it away. Thank you so much for spending your time here with me in Valrico, Florida, with Coach Vlad, learning boxing. I'll see you next month and see how much progress we're making, baby.